The winter arc starts in autumn and it arcs its way through winter until we arrive back in summer. It's the winter arc. I live by the bar. I die by the bar.
This guy goes, "Hey Goggins, you on that winter arc?" I'm like, what the is winter arc? People are like setting goals for the winter time, like working out more, sleeping more, just better habits and goal setting like that. I go, motherfucker, I'm on that 365. It's not an arc. It's a circle.
The winter arc is a modern-day phenomena where young men in particular focus intensely on reaching a specific goal or improving one part of their life throughout the winter months. For many, this means just gaining muscle or strength, but it can also mean advancing in work, learning something new, or working on self-improvement overall. However, the winter arc often turns out to be quite disappointing, and for many, it falls very short of the hype. But why are so many people just fixated on it? And is it truly beneficial to have these bursts of motivation, setting insanely high expectations only to fall short in the long run and end up feeling unfulfilled? Last year, young guys on social media, especially on TikTok, started pushing the winter arc trend. The idea is that since the winter months can be very dark and gloomy, you should focus on self-improvement instead of letting yourself slip into what many would call winter depression. With shorter days, colder weather, and fewer outdoor activities, many feel like they lose themselves during this period, simply disappearing until the summer without changing anything about themselves. So the winter arc really aims to fight this feeling by improving through those months, so that when summer rolls around, you emerge as a new person. In theory, this all sounds great, but in practice, the winter arc itself is nothing special. A lot of people, especially in the gym community, complain about New Year's resolutioners. Those who start the year off with a fitness goal, they hit the gym really hard for maybe a month or two, and then they fall off completely. And the winter arc trend is actually pretty similar. Many get a rush of motivation from seeing everyone around them saying how they're gonna make massive changes and massive gains this winter, hit personal records, or lock in to improve multiple parts of their life. This creates a sense of urgency, like there's a limited time window to make it happen, and people don't want to feel like they're missing out on potential gains. So once that motivation hits, they set overly ambitious goals, like gaining 15 or 20 pounds of muscle, adding a plate to their bench press, or even starting a YouTube channel to document their journey. They dive into a new routine, new program, and they try setting themselves up for success. But the reality is that these goals are often too ambitious and poorly planned. Most don't even set precise, realistic objectives, causing them to fall off when that initial boost of motivation fades away. And to make matters worse, a lot of the guys in the fitness community, especially those who have been training for less than 3 years, tend to believe in excessive bulking. Some push it so far that they gain 30 to 50 pounds in just a few months, thinking it will pay off long term. Now, I'm not saying that bulking itself isn't effective. Staying in a slight calorie surplus can support muscle gain, help with recovery, and boost gym performance. But if 2/3 of the weight gain ends up being fat, which you'll just spend months cutting off later anyways, then you're not really helping yourself out. And this is often what happens with extreme winter bulks. People eat anything and everything, adding tons of unwanted body fat simply because they think more is better and that they should be going all out because it's the winter arc, bro. What often happens though is that they lose that initial motivation and now they're sitting there with another 20 pounds of fat, no drive to continue, and possibly even a sense of disgust when they look in the mirror. Now, if you're going to bulk, the best approach is to stay in a moderate calorie surplus and not get swayed by what others are doing. Sure, you'll hear stories about people doing dirty bulks and gaining a ton of muscle, but a lot of these stories promote a false reality. Sometimes they're just actually on a cycle, eating excessively and calling it a dirty bulk, but they're just setting themselves up for negative health outcomes for the sake of quick gains. The winter arc also thrives on social media, where everyone shares their progress and flaunts ambitious goals. While actual research on social media psychology shows that seeing other people's supposed progress often actually demotivates rather than inspires, especially when it's staged or maybe even enhanced for views. The highlight reel effect often leaves young guys setting ambitious goals based on unrealistic images, leading to constant comparison and dissatisfaction. And I've talked about this a lot with some of my latest videos. Say you're working hard, you're following a good program, and maybe even working with a coach like me. But then you see some enhanced guy on social media bragging about his insane progress during his winter arc, and suddenly you feel like you're not doing enough, even though you're already on a great path. I actually had a client before who thought his progress was too slow because his friend had gained 20 kilos to his bench press in just 2 months. Meanwhile, this client was gaining about 2.5 to 5 kilos a month on all of his lifts while losing body fat, a really healthy and sustainable path. But he felt inadequate just because of that one comparison, even though the two weren't even comparable, as his friend was also putting on a lot of body weight and had just started lifting. Yes, even a guy who was making great progress felt like he was doing something wrong simply because of the progress of somebody else. And this is how social media can help promote that. Social media algorithms promote extremes, the strongest lifters, the biggest transformations, super fast successes. We don't see the consistent, realistic progress of the average person because it's nothing that grabs the attention. Just the thrill of seeing massive changes spikes dopamine, and even talking about setting extreme goals has that same effect. But when people fall short of these goals, they experience a dopamine crash, leaving them feeling disappointed and potentially giving up altogether. The problem with the whole winter arc phenomena is that it often leads to setting yourself up for failure. Fueled by social media, people set high and often unrealistic goals and expectations for how well they should be doing. They don't even take time to break their goals into achievable steps. And when reality doesn't match the hype, motivation tanks and they quit. But here's how you can actually make some meaningful progress year-round instead of relying on stuff like seasonal hype. Instead of setting extreme or even vague goals, go for something precise and realistic, with smaller achievable steps along the way. For example, if your bench max is 100 kilos and you're working with a 3-rep max of 85 kilos, set a goal to bench 105. Work on hitting that 90 kg for a 3-rep max within the next 3 months. Or aim to improve an accessory lift, get a certain amount of protein, hit a daily step goal, or do cardio twice a week for 20 minutes. And these goals don't even have to be gym related. Maybe try working on a side hustle for 30 minutes a day, help some family and friends out with something, learn a new skill, or start learning a new language. Small changes like these compound over time and they lead to major improvements. I like to think of it as compound interest. If you improve by 1% every day in some area, you'll end up with a 3,778% improvement after 1 year. And if you're not making as much progress as you would like, just set some smaller goals to keep improving and maintain that motivation and discipline. Ultimately, this is what the winter arc should be about. Improving incrementally and sustainably, not just during the winter, but year-round. There's no reason why you can't keep getting better all year, so set some realistic goals that you can actually work towards, set smaller partial goals along the way, and strive to make small improvements continuously. Because that's how you actually achieve real progress in the gym and in life. And hey, if you want coaching from somebody who understands fitness and can actually help you set goals based on your individual needs, you can also send me a message on any of my socials. And just to conclude, no, I'm not saying that the winter arc is totally bad, because it may help inspire those who were already falling off track to improve. Something as silly as an internet trend may actually turn somebody's life around for the better. And that's great. But remember to focus on your own ambitions and goals, and not just act on social media hype, because chasing goals that aren't even your own will only leave you feeling unfulfilled in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.